2024 Huntsman World Masters, given that world title. There were some 30 sports and some 12,000 competitors, and this is Kyle Case, head of the Huntsman, talking about some of the sports.
Bowling, pickleball again, ping pong, surfing, race walking, tennis, dancing, all kinds of good stuff. Fantastic. Once again, this is what brings us together. All of our differences, and yet we still come together in one place at one time to celebrate and be together.
This is the 2024 Huntsman Swimming, a great event. And again, it's known as the World Championships. And all the different swimming events are here represented at the Huntsman. Of course, that's the butterfly and the breaststroke, freestyle, backstroke. Some of them do all four of the strokes, the IMs. A great facility and a great representation.
Welcome to our venue today. We are in St. George, Utah at this beautiful aquatic center. Of course, it's all about water and swimming today. And we are representing today the Huntsman World Senior Games Championships. This is a big one, y'all. 33 countries are represented here. So it's quite exciting, and I'm talking to John. John, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got involved in this. We want to know where you're from. Just go with it.
Alrighty. I'm John Hansen. I just turned 50 this year, so I just barely qualify to come to the senior games.
You're a baby.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I tell people, I got a son that's 25 and married, and they say, no, you can't have a son that's 25. And so, so I just barely made the cut. And so I figured I'll come down, set a baseline, and figure out where I can go from here. Yeah. So I'm figuring the things out this year and having a good time, having a lot of fun. I always tell myself that up in my local races, I'm from northern Utah, the Ogden area, and I always look at the races up there and say, if I can just outlive everybody else and finally get to an older age group, I'll be the last one in my age group, then I can finally win and finally get on the podium.
Like me.
But I come down here and I look at everybody that's still swimming, it's like, I'm never going to make an age group that I don't have competition in now. And so it's just a lot of fun. Luckily, the 50-year-olds, I don't know if they just don't want to classify themselves as seniors yet, but there's not a lot of 50s who show up here. And so it's good for me that I can show up and there's nobody in my competition still in some of my events. So I ran the 3,000 meter the other day at the track, and awesome. Because I was faster than everybody else on the couch, they gave me a gold medal for it.
I love it.
And so I'm a world champion in the 3,000 meter for the 50-year-olds.
Well, you got off the couch.
So that's what counts, is just get up and moving.
Yeah.
So.
Well, how would you tell those out there? How would you motivate them to get off the couch and start moving? Because it's hard. It's hard to sometimes to find that moment where okay, I'm going to do this.
Yep. This year, my goal this year was to run 366 days in a row. So I wanted to streak for the whole entire year. And about 2 weeks ago, my knee started acting up because I was really pushing myself through September. And I think I pushed myself a little too hard. And so my knee started hurting. But that's when you got, I've got a goal in mind. I'm still going to get up and move every single day. So even though I'm hurting a little bit, even though you may only be 20%, you may only be 30%, you still got to be all in and just get up and go. And so that's what I think counts, is just putting forth that effort. And really, it's that effort that can really help you just get off the couch.
Yes.
Thinking, okay, streaking is really simple because if you just set the smallest goal, it has to be so stupidly simple that you can almost not fail at it. So if I can just get out the door and go walk for a half mile, then that's all it takes.
And then oftentimes once you start, you end up going a little more.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
The creeks are moving out of my body, the blood's flowing again, and I can just keep going a little bit farther.
Well, it has definitely enhanced your life. I don't know your life before, but can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure.
And when you at that moment came where you really wanted to be fit, unless it's been something you've done all your life.
So I swam and played water polo in high school, but didn't really do much after that. Then probably about 10 years ago, I was really involved in scouting. and the scouts wanted to do the cycling merit badge. So we started off, they had to do a 10, then a 25, then a 50-mile cycle at the end of the year. So we got our whole neighborhood involved, and all their dads started cycling with us. We went up and biked around Bear Lake to do the 50-mile cycling to finish off the merit badge. We had whole families involved. And it was exciting to see that we had some guys on our first 5-mile bike ride that got off their bike and had to walk up a little tiny incline. But at the end of the summer, they biked that whole 50 miles to go around Bear Lake. So it's about 12, 13 years ago, when that group of guys, the dads part of that, we all said, hey, we like biking. Let's just keep biking. So there's a whole bunch of old guys in spandex that just kept cycling. They all bought newer bikes. They bought nicer bikes. We started doing more cycling events and just started getting more involved.
And bikes are expensive.
They are.
Shop at $6,000, you know, for a big road bike or something.
Yep. So I'm buying them used off of KSL.
That's the way to go.
But we just kept going. And it got that group, that camaraderie of guys around that motivate you. Hey, you know, you get texts on a Friday night, hey, I'm going biking on Saturday morning. So you want to get out and be with that group of people and just go. But it's that group of people that will call you out. And there's that group of people that we all are churchgoers. We're all Christians. We believe in wanting to bind together and have that good fellowship. Because I'm a true believer that you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So if you hang out with 5 people who are going to go out smoking and drinking, you're going to be the 6th. If you're hanging out with 5 people who want to be active and do stuff, then you're going to be the 6th. And so I love that camaraderie and that hold me accountable. And if I'm starting to slack off, they're going to call me out on it. Because we're going to go, like we just did a couple weeks ago, we did the Salt to Saint, where you go from Salt Lake to St. George. It's a relay bike ride where you just ride for 24 hours straight, all the way through, kind of going over. And it's that group of guys, that fun camaraderie that you have amongst that group. And so that was a lot of fun. So that got me going. And one of those guys in there about 10 years ago was doing triathlons. And so that got me into triathlons as well. And so I figured, why be mediocre at one sport when I can be mediocre at 3 sports? So if I'm bored running or I'm bored cycling, I can go swimming.
Yes.
And so I like to do triathlons.
There's so many things. So many things that you can do, and depending on whatever level you're at. And we've had some athletes here that have overcome amazing physical challenges, illnesses. I mean, ones where they were literally on death's door, and they have been able to say that is what started the whole rising up in health and fitness. Have you had any of those kind of hurdles to overcome in your life?
Yeah, so in 2016, I was training for my first full distance Ironman. I was going to do the one up at Bear Lake, which is just a gorgeous place to swim and bike and run up at Bear Lake. And so I was going to train for that one. And about 3 weeks before that event was going to happen, I had a little bit of blood in my stool. I went in and saw the doctor, and he said, it could be hemorrhoids, could be whatever, let's get you checked out. Went in, got a colonoscopy. Hey, guess what? You've got a tumor. So 3 weeks before I was going to do that, they told me I had colon cancer. So this was 2016, and the doctor said, we want to start treatments, we want to do some chemo, some radiation, everything like that, shrink it down. And I said, well, let me finish my Ironman first. Because if I can do an Ironman, I can beat cancer. And so he said, I love the attitude. Go run your race, and then let's come back and we'll start treatments as soon as your race is done. So 3 weeks later, I went and ran the Ironman and finished that and became an Ironman. So I figured if I can do that, I can beat anything. And so then I started chemo and radiation, all that kind of good stuff, and went through, temporary elastomy bags and all kinds of stuff. We kept training, but I think it was all that training up to that, because I was putting my body in a good spot that I could withstand the treatments, withstand the chemo, withstand the radiation, because my body was prepared for it. So I think that was the Lord knew what I needed. So he was preparing my body, preparing me, because that had probably been growing, they estimated 18 months in my body. So that whole entire time that I was preparing, it was growing inside of me. And so there's some things I could have attributed to, like, I feel tired. Well, of course, because I just rode my bike 100 miles. So of course I'm tired. But it could have been more the tumor and the colon cancer that was growing and everything like that. Yeah. But I think the Lord prepared me and got myself fit in a way that I could withstand the trials that he was going to put in my life.
So your physical health, of course, being active and pursuing all the things that would make your body strong, you can tell that person out there, it's not just all about the body, it's about the spiritual being inside of you, and that affects your attitude. And,
absolutely.
And you're a perfect example of that. People are listening to this. They're sitting right there listening to this with all kinds of issues that seem like they can never
Yeah.
cross over. But you are an example of that you can.
You can, because I went through that, and that's where I really gained a testimony to myself of the atonement of Jesus Christ. A lot of people think about the atonement is for repentance and things like that. No, because Christ suffered in the garden and on the cross for everything that we go through.
Yes.
All of our pains, our sorrows, our sicknesses, everything that we go through, he suffered for us.
Yes.
And so I really came to understand the atonement of Jesus Christ in my life, going through those trials, that he knew me personally, that he saw me and he suffered for me, and he knew me. And so I felt that, and I really got an appreciation for that. And as I'm closer physically and can do that, then I can feel the Spirit more. If I'm sitting on the couch and being lazy, my mind's going to be clouded, my spirit's going to be clouded. I'm not going to be able to be in tune with the Spirit and be able to feel that love of the Savior. So if my body's in a good spot, my mind's in a good spot, my heart's in a good spot, I can really feel that love of Christ more in my life. And so I really appreciate that.
You need to be a preacher.
Yes, you do.
And so I love Christ more than anything. And
it shows. It shows. It shows in your face. It shows in your enthusiasm and in your willingness to want to share that. People, it's real. It's real. God made our bodies to be moving and used. The body is connected with the spirit and the mind and the body. It's and many more things that the Lord made us capable of experiencing, and he wants us to. He made us to experience those things, and it's up to us.
Yeah.
You're a great example of that, John.
Oh, it is so much fun.
And I know that you're going to be a wonderful inspiration. Y'all listen to him. Y'all listen to him, because we would love to see some of you here. And if you think you can't do it, there are people here for the first time that we had one woman that she could not even walk to her mailbox to get her mail, and she finally crossed over that line of you can't do this, and she said, I'm going to try. Her neighbor had to help her to the mailbox. She eventually lost, I'm thinking it was 100 pounds.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this woman started doing triathlons eventually, but it was one step at a time. Don't rush it. Enjoy it.
Yep. Just be that 1% better today.
1% better.
That's all it takes, just a little tiny bit.
We have so many people out there and you are in that group of total inspiration, because you can inspire others to experience what God made and what God wanted us to be, and how far he can take us.
Oh, and Christ is in relentless pursuit of you and relentless pursuit of me, so we need to run to him and just embrace that.
Yes. I can't thank you enough for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Trish.
And for sharing your testimony out there. And I hope this is an inspiration. I want you to say one thing to those folks out there watching. Just leave them with a word of encouragement that you would leave. They've heard it already, but one last, come on, y'all. Let's get after it.
Like I said, Christ is in relentless pursuit of you. So go chase after him. He is coming after you, so run to him and just give him everything. All your trials, your heartaches, your pains, your sorrows, lay them at his feet. Let him take them. Don't walk this alone.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
We want to thank you for watching RedefiningAging.us. I'm John Disterdick, your host. And our goal for the series is pretty simple. We just want to enhance the quality of people's lives. So if you know of an event that you think would be one for good for us to cover, please fill out the form on our website, and not only the event and what it is, where it is, when it is, and if there's a person you know that you think would be a good person for us to do a testimony on in some event, please let us know. And if you want a fuller description of my testimony, you can either go to johndisterdick.com and look under ministry, or you can go here at redefiningaging.us. We appreciate your viewership. God bless, and hope to see you on more shows.